Yo, listen, not having numbers on your rack freaking sucks. Sometimes it takes you a minute to remember what the setup even is for a particular exercise. Sometimes you're lifting with a buddy and he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, so he ends up making it uneven. Or even sometimes you're just doing it by yourself, but you're off by a hole or two, making the bar uneven. For the most part, numbers eliminate all of that. Typically, laser etched racks tend to be more expensive, with most companies opting for only their 3x3 1-inch holes rack versions being etched instead of their usually cheaper 3x3 5/8-inch holes. But the 1-inch hole versions do not come with west side spacing, which is when the holes are just 1 inch apart rather than the normal 2 inches. And there are very few exceptions. The only ones I could really find are PRX and a small mom and pop near me called Blazed Fitness. And I've seen people come up with their own solutions, whether it's using something like a paint pen or some chalk, or even sticking something onto your rack like something magnetic or otherwise. But I like having each individual hole marked because I like doing things like overhead presses, squats, incline bench, flat bench, or things like unloading or reloading my deadlift bar, doing dips, and more. And so that's why I feel like there's not really enough magnets for me to use when differentiating those exercises, and I don't really trust my chicken scratch handwriting to mess up my beautiful rack. Which is why I ended up buying a label maker. This was gifted to me because I wanted to label my rack, and it was only $20 off of Amazon. But at the moment, I think it's like 16. So save yourself 20%. And this thing lets you label anything, man. So while I might only use it for my rack, it is definitely useful for other things. I also think it looks cool because it's an embossing tool, meaning the letters are made by imprints rather than laser or ink, giving the end product a more textured feel. Plus, I think I would prefer a black background with white letters on my black rack rather than a white background with black letters. And they're all like stickers, so they're pretty easy to put on. And I know it seems like I'm trying to sell you this, but I'm unaffiliated. I'm just giving a solution to an inconvenience I had, alright? The label maker also comes with 2 black rolls and a red one, which lets me do things like this. Subscribe. Using it is also pretty simple. I always like to start with a spaced, then I click whatever number I want, 5, end with a space, and then cut it off. You can see the little scissor symbol. It's ready to go. Here's number 5, ready to peel and stick. And there's 1 through 4. Obviously it has all the letters, several symbols, all the numbers, of course. Punctuation. Does not do lowercase, but I'm not gonna need that, so whatever. Now I get there might be some concerns of it peeling or being scraped off by the attachments as I put them on, but I never had any issues before when I did have it on this rack. I ended up peeling them off because I moved the front post to the back, put small posts on the front, it was a whole thing, and then I ended up buying bigger posts for the front anyway, so I may as well not have taken them off of that. Whatever. So here I am redoing it and making a video about it. I think the main reason I never had a problem is because I would put my attachments from inside the rack to out. When I see people putting attachments on generally, I see them going from outside in, especially if they have the option of doing either or. Some racks are built so that you can only do from inside out. Hammer strength. My rack is one of the ones that lets me do either or, and I decided it's inside out. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but I do think that is the better move because doing that lets you stay within the rack without having to go outside to see what numbers you're at. So having the numbers on the inside and then the attachments from inside out lets you adjust without moving. Convenient. And doing so makes it so that all the attachments lay over the label rather than scraping them sideways as you put things on. You can stand within the rack and put on attachments from outside in with little trouble, but I'm not about to change the way I do things, so... And I can already hear some of you saying, That would be so annoying with the bench in the way. But it actually doesn't interact with the bench whenever I'm adjusting it. And that just might be my rack, my attachments, my bench, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't interact with your stuff either. Is all of this too much work? Would you rather buy it etched? I mean, I guess we all would, right? But besides this solution, what solution have you found? For more DIYs by your fucking guy Porky, subscribe. Like the video if you actually like the content. And as always, stay hungry.